Hey, I am here with Drew Pocza, who 5 minutes ago I got a tweet from Thomas Hall, who you guys know from Indie Comic Fail, and it said, you guys should talk to Drew Pocza while you're interviewing people. He does an awesome webcomic called Pokeweed, and he described it as any comic starring a dog, a talking snowman, and Cthulhu and is still kid-friendly has got to be up your alley. So I frankly had to come over and talk to you. So welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is exciting. I feel like I'm getting some really good, real good feedback. It's the first time I've ever been to a con on this side of the table, and the strip is pretty much just a webcomic. So I wanted to break out of my Facebook bubble. You know, friends and family are really, they can only go so far.
Yeah. Don't I know it?
And word of mouth is great, but this has been really, really awesome.
So tell me a little bit about the comic.
It started as another strip called Filibuster about 10 years ago, and I just really didn't. It was about Phil and Buster, and so it was Filibuster, and it was only the two characters, and I just kind of ended up flaking on it. I got to about 60 strips, I lost the passion. And so then, just within last year, well, several years of just talking about doing a comic strip, talk, I found, okay, I gotta put up or shut up. And
yeah, I know about that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's very common. And
ideas are great, but you know, like Drew, Thomas has said, it's like, you got to do it. You got to actually do it.
You just got to. And there was I can't remember if it was Scott Kurtz or one of the people on the earlier podcasts of their stuff. They said, there's only so much. If you just talk about it, you're never going to do it.
Yeah.
And so, and that was one of the kind of kick in the pants. And so I got laid off from work, and I thought, hey, what better time, And I just kind of really been putting my heart and soul into this. This is a rekindled passion. I think everybody my age probably grew up wanting to be, well, artist-wise, wanting to be into the daily comics. That was a real, I don't know, just unattainable goal. But now, thanks to the internet,
I know it's like the Penny Arcade guys, Scott Kurtz. There are ways of making a good living, XKCD, with just webcomics. I mean, you just get a couple. There's formulas out there. Basically, you get a couple thousand really dedicated followers, and you don't. That's your job, and and I'm assuming that's the goal for you.
That is my goal, and it was really funny because my wife has just been like pondering this, like, well, why do you do this? She didn't quite, get it, that it's coming from the heart. And so when she finally saw all this stuff laid out on the table and saw the cutouts that I was doing, and she enjoys reading them, but she finally sees it, and she, and that was actually really encouraging for me. And she was never a naysayer; she just didn't get it.
Yeah. Is she not really a comic strip or a comic book fan, and so just getting the medium just in her,
I even had to kind of show her how you read a comic strip. I mean, because they're the balloons and things like that. There were just some what I thought elementary questions, but she really just never read them. Maybe Garfield, and that's it.
Well, but you raise a good point. I mean, the language of comics is, for you and me, it's automatic at this point. But if you look back at comics that came out in the 20s and the comic strips that came out back then in the 30s, there's a reason why they had arrows telling people the directions to go, because they were having to teach the readers how to do that.
That's true. It's a very new frontier. And now it's a whole new world. With the internet. I mean, I don't know. I just am really excited that I'm able to get, when I see pings from all over, from, Korea, wherever, just all over the world, people seeing my stuff and commenting and enjoying it. It's far greater than any newspaper could probably reach. So it's
exactly.
I'm living the dream. I'm not living the dream economically, but I mean.
And hopefully you'll get there. So. Tell me about the actual comic. Sell it to the folks that are going to watch, our sevens of listeners, as we like to say.
That's awesome. Better than the threes I've got.
But yeah, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, Pokeweed is a small town. It's everywhere. And I try and take things I grew up in, things from the local Seattle area. So it's just all of my life kind of put together in this small town called Pokeweed. And it's about Phil, a little naively optimistic young boy. crotchety snowman friend. We've got his flamboyantly straight dog, Clint, who has really been quite the ham. Everybody seems to really resonate with Clint. And then Cthulhu, who is going by the name of Chuck, as a reformed or a recovering monster is the way I like to call him. So he's trying to get a day job, live the normal life. He's seeing a therapist, that kind of stuff. So,
trying not to be evil.
Trying not to be evil.
Does the evil still leak out sometimes?
It perks, yeah, it's still percolating, and it's in there. It's down in there. But his pet rock helps him to navigate the rough waters.
You've certainly got a very distinct style with them, and obviously making Cthulhu cute is a chore, I assume. Is that something that you worked hard at for a while, like designing it and?
Well, I actually did a book called Cthulhu 101.
Nice.
Product placement for Atomic Overmind Press, and that kind of got me thinking about him more and more. And I had about 2 years ago, I started to do a comic strip, Cthulhu. Just wasn't going anywhere. I needed more, so that's when I put him into Pokeweed, and so now it's a thing that Pokeweed is anything and everything that I do. I mean, I'll be out hanging out with friends, and somebody will say something funny. Well, probably is going to end up in the next day's gag or something. And I try and make it fun and personal, and not to sound arrogant or whatever, but I try and do the strip for me. And if I can be happy with that daily strip, it's kind of like draw it and they will come.
That's but you don't want to have viewers that you're pandering to.
Right.
Because I assume that if you're having fun with the comic, then it's going to seem true.
Yeah.
Basically, is that pretty much what you're trying to do?
That's perfect. And my wife, in her revelation of why I do this, she realized seeing all the fun little tabletops and stuff like that. Yeah, you found it, because she knows that I've tried to do strips I've done about 3 or 4 different strips, and I've since combined them now into what is Pokeweed.
How do you? So you're obviously doing the writing and the art.
Yeah.
What's the schedule for release of each individual what's your release days?
I do it Monday through Friday.
Oh, really? You do 5 days a week?
Yeah, and typically that day. I was in the habit of getting them the night before. I tried to get a buffer. It just never happened because I was just too excited. I'd get one done and boom, it was online. I just couldn't wait. And I thought, I've just got to do. The only way to keep people interested is to go daily. And it's been a real chore, but it's been like a chore that has been very rewarding, to say the least. I like to think of it as a little therapy session that I get to spend,
Oh yeah. Is it a 3-panel structure? Is that or because it's online, you're not limited by that kind of structure?
But I do keep it structured like that. I max out at around 4 panels. I try to keep in mind that, Lord willing, if it ended up in a newspaper, it'd look killer.
Yeah.
And that's why it's black and white. I was trying to get into weekend editions, but it was just too much time. It was just way too much time, especially since I kicked it into full gear with going daily. But I am trying to do it 5 days a week. I'm getting close to 150 strips right now, which means I'm trying to put together my first compilation for the holidays. And
that's perfect.
That would be really nice. So I had to do the Kinko's version, or FedEx Office, whatever it is now.
We stopped by there today as well to get some stuff going.
Last minute.
Yeah.
And then mine wasn't even open 24 hours. I had to go to another one.
Oh, son of a.
Yeah, economics. But so in the whole strip is done digitally. So the only time I ever do hand drawings now is sketch cards, and those have actually proven to be real fun because I enjoy markers.
Everyone loves sketch. So are you drawing? Talk and shop a little bit. Are you drawing digitally? Are you drawing with a digital pad, or are you?
Yeah, the Cintiq.
Okay, gotcha.
Really nice, and I crank it out in Sketchbook Pro, and then sketch it on Sketchbook Pro. Then I bring it into Illustrator, and so from start to finish, it's roughly about 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
From when you write it to when you draw it and everything else?
Yeah. I lay in my workbench, laying there on bed, thinking, okay, what's funny? And as soon as I get a rough idea, then I start sketching it. And then so it's all about About 2 hours. You know, and I used to do the original one, it would take about 4 hours.
So here's a question. You said a lot of it comes from your daily life, and say if you're out at the pub the night before or doing whatever. Have you had friends see their quotes appear as punchlines or other things said in the comic, and does that make them more wary of saying things? Yeah.
No, they've actually been pretty cool about it. And in fact, I thought that was going to happen, that they'd be afraid. But no, everybody just lets loose. And I have the type of personality that'll just kind of pry it out of them. You know, just have fun. And so it just happens, and no one's really afraid of it anymore.
Nice. So what's the website that we can point to people to go read it?
Pokeweedcomics.com.
Nice.
Pretty simple. And then there's a Facebook. I don't even know the whole, but it's Facebook/Pokeweed. And so I got a lot of friends there. And I hope
Cool.
you guys come and visit too.
Check it out. And Drew, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
It's been an honor.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, good deal.